Good afternoon, folks. It's Grant Kerkhof. Today, on Grant Kerkhof's Learning Series, I will be discussing the history of the Union Pacific's living legend, the A44. The living legend started out as a new-build steam locomotive, which came out of the Alco shops. Alco, which stands for the American Locomotive Company from Schenectady, New York. A44's delivery to the Union Pacific started in December. It was delivered to the Union Pacific Railroad in December of 1944, and it was celebrated as the last American steam locomotive built for the Union Pacific Railroad. The workers who are employees proudly posed a company photo. They posed for a company photo with the employees, all thanks to the employees who helped bring the steam engine to life. And this sign right there, placed on the locomotive, that says "Merry Christmas" from Alco. So this was Alco's Christmas present to the Union Pacific Railroad. While many other American railroads have transferred steam to diesel power, the Union Pacific still utilizes their steam locomotives as part of the popular steam locomotion in the old days. The A44 is a 484 class steam locomotive. In Union Pacific's terms, it was also classed as an 800 class steam locomotive, which was also called the Northern type. Although like I told you before, it has a 484 wheel arrangement, and it was part of the FEF series. However, it is an FEF3 steam locomotive. So each order of the FEF locomotives represented a different series. The first FEF locomotives were delivered between 1936 and 1937 to replace the aging fleet of Union Pacific's 7,000 class 482s, which were having trouble with keeping up, maintaining. Sorry about the mix-up. As I did tell you, the first FEF series were delivered between 1936 and 37 to replace the aging fleet of 7,000 class 482 locomotives, which were having trouble keeping up with longer heavyweight limits. This is an FEF1 steam locomotive. The first FEFs, which were classed as the FEF1s, were numbered 800 to 819. This FEF1 is numbered 817. It has 77-inch drive wheels, a 6-wheel tender, and they are over at 111 feet long. The second FEF series, which are also classed the FEF2s, were delivered in 1939. These, as well as the third FEF series, were to be larger than the first series FEF locomotives. They sported 80-inch drive wheels, a combined sand and steam dome atop of its boiler. So this locomotive is 832, numbered 832, and as I said earlier, a few seconds ago, it has a combined sand and steam dome atop the boiler, which is its boiler, and as well as a centipede wheeled tender. And this right here is the final series of the FEF locomotives, which are the FEF3s. They were delivered between 1940 and 1944, just like the A44. Compared to the FEF2s and FEF1s, the FEF3s have double smokestacks, and as well as a combined sand and steam dome, and even the centipede wheeled tender, just like the FEF2s. Just like the FEF2s, the FEF3s also have 80-inch drive wheels. The A44 is the last FEF3 locomotive. It's over 114 feet long and stands at 16 feet high. Like its siblings in the FEF2s, it also has 80-inch drive wheels, a combined sand and steam dome, and double smokestacks. It also has 4,000 horsepower. So that means the FEFs, the FEF3s, as well as the FEF locomotives, the rest, have 4,000 horsepower. It could be either right or wrong, but the A44 has 4,000 horsepower. So that's a lot of horses if you ask me. Here's the A44 on its recent trips from the last couple of years. Its huge tender carries 620... Wait, that's not it. Its huge tender carries 6,200 gallons of number 5 fuel oil and 23,500 gallons of water. The FEF locomotives were designed to maintain speeds of 110 miles per hour on main lines. However, in Jacinto, Nebraska, one FEF locomotive was recorded at a high speed of 124 miles per hour, pulling a fast, limited passenger train. A very fast passenger train. But during the 1950s, diesels had begun taking over the passenger duties, and the FEF locomotives were then reassigned to freight service. However, they once again displayed their superior designs, like hauling freight trains at speeds approaching 80 miles per hour to 100 miles per hour. In July of 1930, Later on in the years, in July of 1959, the Union Pacific stopped steam operations and then retired the entire steam locomotive fleet. That is, except for 2 of them, which includes the 844 and 4664 Challenger number 3977, formerly numbered 3710. They were kept as snow melters for snow melting experiments, with the A44 being stationed in Council Bluffs, Iowa. And that's why the A44 is known as the living legend. Why is it named the living legend, you may ask? Because the A44 was never retired from the Union Pacific's locomotive roster. No other American steam locomotive restored to operation today can make that claim. A44 was widely kept. It was kept in storage and then went under for restoration, although it wasn't sent to the scrappers' torch. 844 began its second career in the late 1950s and the early 1960s, so its excursion career began in 1960. This is 844 in the old days, which was formerly numbered 8444. It was pulling an excursion special all across Wyoming, where there's light snow everywhere. There are some rare occasions on YouTube where a documentary of A44 shows Union Pacific A44 also pulled a Revenue Pacific fruit train. And it's also capable of hauling revenue freight, despite its age. Of course, some people who are not rail fans didn't even know that this old steamer would still be around today, and it is still operational today. It is sent somewhere westbound with an excursion special, pulling into Omaha or somewhere in Iowa. And there's A44 again, somewhere in the mid-60s to the 1970s. It was renumbered 8444. And why was it renumbered to 8444? Because in 1962, the Union Pacific Railroad purchased a group of GP30 diesel locomotives from EMD. They were numbered in the 800 series. And one of them was numbered A44. And of course, the diesel locomotive, which has the similar number, A44, was preserved and restored to operation in a museum somewhere in Nevada. And that's why an extra 4 was added to the steamer's number, or to the steam locomotive's number plates, which made it the 8444. And it is still the most famous steam locomotive in the post-steam era. It became the most famous of all the restored steam locomotives in excursion service. Then in 1989, the GP30 diesel, which carried the 8444's original number, as I told you earlier, was retired. And the steam locomotive once again got its number back. And there's A44 again, pulling another excursion from many years ago, several years ago. So where is it now? Union Pacific A44 is still operational today, although in the recent years, it is stored in the Cheyenne Roundhouse, resting. As of this year, 2024, it is still resting in the Cheyenne Roundhouse because the Union Pacific steam crew just wanted to go for a spin on the big boy 4014. Alright guys, that's all I've got for you about Union Pacific's A44. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave me some comments in the comments section. And I'll see you all next time.